shoot him. No word on the injured woman's condition. Alec Baldwin vows to fight and win. That after New Mexico prosecutors filed involuntary manslaughter charges against him and a film weapons specialist for the 2021 shooting death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
In a statement, Baldwin's attorney says he had no reason to believe there was a real bullet in the gun or anywhere on set. Gutierrez-Reed's attorney says these charges are the result of a very flawed investigation. Hutchins' family thanked the DA in a statement, saying it is a comfort to them that in New Mexico, no one is above the law.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. America's listening to Fox News.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Live and local. Real talk starts now.
Shall we just say, go ahead right up front? TGI.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Made it another week, almost.
Hallelujah.
Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And Live and Local Real Talk is now on the air a little after 7 o'clock, and we appreciate y'all being here. And those of you who are not, shame on you.
That's right. You don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, if you know somebody, give them a call or wake them up, tell them to turn on the radio, because we might be talking about them this morning.
You just never know.
You never know.
We do have a way of surprising people.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, my.
Got to say thank you, though, first to our city leader, Mayor Sammy Phillips.
Always. Hooray. Hooray.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, yesterday, my sister-in-law had an issue, and trying to get it resolved. And
okay. I know what we're talking about.
Not to go into specifics, but anyway, ran into obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after, nobody knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I went over and checked things out, and I said, well, prior to November, I could have taken care of this, but physically I could not take care of it anymore. So I called, we go way back, and I said, what do I do? He said, oh, it's handled.
There you go.
Basically.
Oh, he's awesome.
He called, and it's interesting to know just how government can actually work if you reach the right people.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't a stonewall when she was trying to reach somebody. It was just the wrong people.
Yeah.
They did not.
Yeah.
They weren't the right people. Yeah. And the thing is, nobody knew who the right people were.
That's kind of scary, though.
Well, she never got into the city.
Yeah.
She was.
Oh, okay.
She was reaching county people and then state people, and none of them had anything to do with the issue. So she was at her wit's end. So situation resolved in less than 1/2 hour.
I like it.
Well, thank you, Sammy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I found it very refreshing to know that you can still reach people.
Correct.
And he was on his way to rehab at the time I got him. So, folks,
now let's clear that up real quick. That was for shoulder surgery, I think. Yeah. All right, we just want to make sure when we say rehab.
Your mind went the wrong way. Oh, well, whatever.
That's not my mind. I know somebody listening, but what's the mayor in rehab for?
Well, that's true, too. I'm supposed to be going to rehab, but they haven't scheduled me yet.
You should have already been in there.
I know that. And they were waiting for a call from my cardiologist, and maybe the call never came through. I don't know. Whatever.
My goodness.
I got follow-ups coming up this week, or next week, or week after next, whatever. I don't even know when it is. Somewhere around the 1st of the month. So I got like 3 or 4 different appointments, medically speaking, within the same few days.
Oh my goodness.
So y'all may have to be busy. I think the best thing I can do.
Where is this?
I don't know. It's sometime coming up. I'll be here. Everything is after normal hours, after our hours.
I'm gone the last week of this month, the week after next.
Yeah, well, all right. I'll be here.
Your favorite place?
No, you won't be going to my favorite
She's going to the woke part of the state.
I'm not going to the state. I'm going to D.C.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're going to well, there you go.
My favorite place.
So I'm not looking forward to this.
Outside of Jacksonville is about 2,000 miles away.
I thought this was facetiousness.
No, I understand. Attitude.
Big old yikes.
Okay. let's see what else we need to talk about first this morning. Good gracious sakes!
Pick something. Where are we going to start?
There was a lot breaking yesterday.
Yeah, lots going on. Of course, the president's like on La La Land, and he's
every day.
He's there.
Yeah.
I really feel frustrated for him. I feel his frustration because he is frustrated. He's got to be frustrated. And he said, "Oh, I got no regrets about all those classified documents." Huh?
That right there got me.
What?
What do
I
you
had
mean?
no
No
regrets.
regrets.
I got no regret. I got regrets that they found them, but I got no regrets about having those documents there, classified or whatever. Huh? Really? Did you just say that? White House, the press secretary is like, I need to take a vacation because she really needs to take a vacation. I just like eyes as a reaction to anything.
Yes.
Does he even know what's going on?
Well, she's been thrown under the bus plenty of times lately.
Yep.
It's been bad for her.
This is the end of his second year in office, in this office.
Well,
he's been feeding at the trough now 53 years. That
yes, he's been in politics a very long time.
Has he ever worked in real life?
I couldn't tell you.
Has he ever walked among real people?
Has he ever really done anything momentous? Is there anything you can think about over the last 53 years that you could say, oh, Joe Biden is responsible for that? Anything?
I'm giving it some thought.
Yes.
I mean, from Delaware, he showed up. He voted president, I guess.
True.
Just by being there.
True.
He stood up a few times. I remember seeing pictures of him in the Senate, but I don't remember anything significant that he ever did. What is the most? Anybody else out there, you historian and whatever, is there anything really that you can remember that he had a significant role in?
I couldn't tell you. Just he was there and you would hear his name because, the times that he's, like the last time he ran for president and how crazy it was then.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Happy anniversary. It goes out today. It's been a quarter century.
2.
Since Monica Barker, 25 years since the Clinton scandal with Vanity Fair.
Boy, was that a scandal.
Oh my, it's been 25 years today since that came out in Vanity Fair.
And that was a scandal, wasn't it?
Poor Monica. Poor girl. Who would have ever thunk that she would have ever gone anywhere after that?
No. She's had to live with that all her life, too.
Yeah, she's still smiling about it.
Yeah, well, I would think Clinton probably is, too.
Yeah, well, Mr. Clinton might be, but Mrs. Clinton ain't doing so well about it with it. Especially every time an anniversary like this shows up and there's more news about her, and it's like,
Have you seen pictures of Hillary lately?
Ugh.
Yeah.
She's looking more and more like, who's that former Speaker of the House that we have?
Oh, Nancy.
She's looking more and more like Nancy.
When is Nancy going to retire? She needs to retire. She needs to go home and take care of that clown husband of hers.
Well, I think that's useless either way. But we've got scheduled guests this morning. Let's see.
Yes, we do. I'm so excited.
He might be lost.
I hope not.
Let's see if he's... Nope, that wasn't him. Somebody was texting me.
Look, he was an FBI agent. I'm sure he can find his way around.
Not according to him. Because during his stint in the FBI, so a pilot with the FBI.
Right, I remember that.
He flew small planes and drug look. And he would fly low, but he always had to have a cover plane overhead to tell him where he was because he kind of sort of stayed lost.
I remember his stories flying.
Yeah, John Legato, retired FBI. a hero during Vietnam.
Yes.
He's one of the survivors of the Tet Offensive. A hero every day that he walks among us. A man that worked multiple years. It's either 7 or 8 years deep cover. Now, y'all who don't have a clue, deep cover means you don't see anybody you even know who knows who you really are, where anybody else can see you. In other words, he couldn't go to headquarters,
Oh, yes.
but he worked deep cover inside the infamous group known as the mob,
Right.
the mafia.
Yes.
And he, it, and at the end of the time when the arrests were made, I just, I would love to have been there watching that go down.
Wow.
Watching any undercover operation when the arrests start getting made is remarkable. It's just like, huh? You? I trusted you. Oh my God. I never knew. I trusted you. You betrayed me. You let me down. That's what they always tell the undercover guys.
I wonder how many times he was arrested in the guise of what he was doing.
I don't know that he ever was.
Because, of
He
course, TV
I would
shows.
make them arrest me at least once or twice.
Yes.
So that would have a little more cred. Just saying.
Don't bring any attention. People start pay too much attention to you when you do that.
No, I agree, but but
okay.
So,
well, he's written some good books.
he's written some great books.
Boys is
it's
good.
a good book. It's a
Favorite
very
Yes,
good
it
book.
is.
Yeah.
I like
that book.
You guys.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll be talking with John this morning when he finds his way here, since we changed locations. But he's been here before.
I was going to say, I'm sure
But
he
I
has.
texted him the exact address, so he'll be here. I'm sure he will be.
He can GPS. Maybe. He knows that.
That's too technical. I'm kidding, John. I'm just kidding. So anyway, let's see what else we got cooking out there. Some good stuff coming up. Before I forget it, tomorrow is the third Saturday of this month.
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Bluegrass and Gospel Sing is happening this month through March on the first and third Saturdays. Starts at 6 o'clock in the evening, runs till about 9 o'clock at the Halls Run Community Building, sponsored by the Halls Run Community Building.
Okay.
That's it. 886 Halls Run Road, in case you don't know where
It's
that
right
is.
next to the fire
Halls
department.
Run Road,
Right.
y'all. And Bluegrass and Gospel Sing, they got different folks going to be up there every first and third Saturday.
Sounds like some fun. Bring your guitar, your banjo.
January, February, and March. So that's happening tomorrow. And you just get on out there. There's no entry fee,
Right.
but they are taking donations. It will go for the maintenance and the expansion of the Halls Run Community Building.
Bring
Whatever
some
they
of
need.
those homemade biscuits with some jelly.
You can bring those over here. And you bring the banjo, and we'll let you pick it while you're in here.
That's
Now I'm
right.
eating your biscuits and jam.
Yes.
So
There you
not
go.
a problem.
Sounds like a fun time.
It's going to be fun. You get a group of people together and they start singing, especially bluegrass and gospel. It gets to be kind of really interesting.
Yeah, it does. They have no shame. They just love getting up there and doing it.
They don't need to have any shame. So,
Exactly.
anyway, I heard a friend of mine start picking and grinning a little bit yesterday.
Who is that?
He's going to come out. He's coming out of the closet and going to go back on the road a little bit. They're putting together a band again.
Who?
Cowboy Earl?
Who? George.
Who?
George?
George.
No.
Oh, is he going to be like?
He had his guitar out and he's got an idea. So we're going to get him in here one of these days.
No way.
From
wow.
down
Get
at
it,
Tide,
George.
down
Good
at
for
Tide
you.
Line.
That's awesome.
He said, "Do you want to hear Hendrix today or who else
Ooh,
was it?
Hendrix.
Chili Peppers."
Ooh,
I'd go for Hendrix.
I did too.
Yeah. I would have said both.
Yes.
Well, he can't do both at the same
Not
time.
at the same time. One and then the other.
Well, he could do that, but
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that about
anyway.
George. I know he's great on the sax.
oh, he's good.
He's fantastic on that.
He is. So he's working on putting a little. He used to do that.
I knew he used to do that.
So-
Well, that's pretty
He had
cool.
told me that
So
before.
we're gonna
Good for him. Get it, George.
his guitar case in his office actually contains a guitar and not a machine gun.
Oh,
like that.
okay. Nice to
you didn't
know.
a lot of guys in the old days carried, especially with the mob.
Yeah, even in
They-
the movies.
They
do
carried the
that.
guns
Yes.
and violin cases and stuff like that.
Antonio Barris did it in Desperado. Carried that. But he also did play the guitar, but he also had the
Oh.
gun in there. Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Wow. Speaking of movies,
You know?
what?
you
What?
want to talk about Alex?
Oh, Mr.
Wow.
Baldwin, you screwed, dude.
Oh,
You
yes.
think so?
Yep, he's been
Well-
charged with involuntary manslaughter.
But it is what state?
New Mexico.
Okay.
Where's I see both sides of this.
I do too.
It's going to be an interesting court
Not
trial.
sure.
I don't see but one side. The person with the gun, handling the gun, is responsible
I think he'll be acquitted.
for whatever
I think so
occurs.
too,
I
Kelly.
think
If
he'll
he
be
is,
acquitted.
that's wrong.
I just think he will.
But I
be.
think now they did sue him civilly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was for negligence, which that is
That's-
different than a court of law
Yeah.
as far as
Well,
criminal.
less than a criminal court. Yeah.
I think he'll be
But
acquitted.
he, based upon the information that we've seen, I've seen
Mhm.
no defense except
Right.
the published
Yeah.
claims. Based upon the evidence, the man is guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
hear
He
what
did
you're
not
saying. I'm not gonna-
intentionally do it.
I'm
I
not going
know.
to dispute it.
And I would be that.
My
be-
question
be
is,
a hung jury.
what about the armor that was responsible for making sure that
See, I
the gun
think
was not
somehow
loaded?
that's going to
That's
be
civil.
Yes,
But I think that will somehow be brought into.
that's
the
what I
defense.
think so too. So
That's
it's gonna
what-
be
that's what I
interesting.
think.
That's
gonna
what defense is going to be. However,
I think they're going to say he's an actor. It's not like just a bunch of dudes sitting in the garage and it happened. They're going to say we were filming. There should have been things in play.
There should have been.
believe he'll
Civilly.
get
That's
off.
right.
civilly,
I
the
understand.
guy is guilty. Both of them are, but criminally, Baldwin is guilty.
And see, the other thing that's going to fall back on him, I believe at the time he was the producer of the movie.
All of the
So
above.
in other words, he was the big dog, and it
Mhm.
always falls
Uh-huh.
back to the big dog.
Yeah.
So
So
I see both sides.
I see both sides, and I
The buck
understand
stops
what
there.
we're saying. But I think when you get a bunch of starstruck people
Mhm.
who movie stars and whatever, and they just if it was an average citizen, I think they absolutely would be convicted.
mhm.
I cannot say with certainty that I mean, he might, but I just feel like somehow he'll get off this.
And you brought up a good point. Go back to the days of OJ.
Yeah.
He was found not guilty.
Yep.
And we all know
yeah,
he did it.
He did it.
We all know he did it.
Mhm. I think somehow they're going to say because they were filming a movie and someone else should have checked, regardless of what we know how things should be. And I think had this been a bunch of dudes in a garage, they would whoever did it would be. I will be shocked if he's found guilty. I really will. Not that I agree with it. I don't even like Alec Baldwin.
I
But I'm
understand.
just saying.
Well, I agree with what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Well, I don't like Alex Baldwin anyway.
I never have
I like-
really. Yes.
That was
1988.
1988.
He came out and he was anti. Understand that, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Hothead too.
Oh, he's always had
Oh,
been
yeah.
a hothead.
Hothead.
Yeah.
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 So, anyway, whatever.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break and get some weather done, and we'll see how it's going to be. It's looking kind of pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to get
A
cold.
little windy
You're going
there.
to tell us all about that,
nippy
right?
out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly's going to ruin your weekend with the weather.
I am, especially Sunday. Y'all better do whatever you got to do tomorrow. I'm telling you right now.
Do what now?
You better do everything. He's turning my mic
I
off.
can take care of the
Yeah.
bad weather.
Uh-huh.
Just
The mic
turn-
just went
turn
dead
her
on
mic
Kelly.
off, and we don't have any bad weather out
That's
there,
right.
right?
Just do it
He
sweetly,
doesn't want to
Kelly.
hear the bad news.
Bring it to us sweetly.
You're
And
live
I-
and
yeah.
local, real talk here on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, and we'll be right back.
Raymond here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
A plan every adult family member should consider is the pre-arranged funeral. It's the worry-saving thing to do for your family. Making pre-arrangements helps to alleviate the additional stress on family members that can come with arranging a loved one's funeral. Jones Funeral Home's prepaid funeral plan helps remove confusion. They make a practical evaluation of costs possible, and it's the best way to take an unpleasant task off the shoulders of the family. Call Jones Funeral Home at 455-1281.
With locations in Jacksonville, Richland, Swansboro, and Holly Ridge.
When you need comforting, who do you call? An old friend, right? Jacksonville Heating Contractors services the heating and cooling needs of our area with dependable quality train systems, guaranteeing indoor comfort for your home or business. In addition to quality train systems, Jacksonville Heating Contractors offers 24-hour emergency service, NATE certified technicians, and over 50 years of experience and service you can trust. And with a Jacksonville Heating Contractor service agreement, you never pay retail for heating or cooling services and receive priority scheduling. Remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And in New Bern, you can call Trent Heating and Air Conditioning 252-633-2200. In Morehead City, Sea Air Heating and Cooling 252-247-1122. If you need service or repairs, just call an old friend. Jacksonville Heating Contractors, an independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. For deals on train systems and more, visit anoldfriend.com or call 910-347-2843.
It's live and local. Real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
Oh. Wow, and it's weather time. Go ahead, Kelly. Ruin
Okay.
the weekend.
I'm going to ruin everybody's weekend. We're back. Rayford's giving directions to here, so I'm going to go ahead and do the weather. So today will actually be sunny and high of 65, but it's going to be gusty with gusts as high as 20 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 33. Oh, so it's going to be cold, y'all. Run your heat, have a fire, whatever you need to do. Yeah. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 54. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, a low of 37, still nippy. But Sunday, y'all needed to stay home. Showers, 100% chance of rain. Winds gusts as high as 24 miles an hour, and within 1 to 2 inches of rain are possible. So, and it's supposed to rain Sunday night, low of 47. Then Monday will be sunny and high of 58. And then Monday night's going to be at 32. It's going to be freezing. But I mean, today will be your warmest day for the next few days of 65, but gusty.
Tonight's going to be cold.
Tonight's going to be 33. It's going to be cold. But Sunday, between 1 and 2 inches of rain, which we need.
Yeah,
But I mean,
we desperately need the
just
rain.
be careful driving and
Stay home.
stay home.
Yeah,
And also just remember too, I mean, because it's so dry, there'll be a lot of standing water.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
you want to slow
be
down your
careful.
speed and
Yeah.
increase your braking distance.
Yeah, just be careful. I'm staying home Sunday.
Why not? Let's generally stay home every Sunday.
Yeah.
Unless the fish are biting. But I can't go fishing right now.
I may have to just watch church online Sunday.
There you go. You can
Yeah.
do that too.
Yeah.
All right. Our guest was a little lost, but he's real close.
Okay, cool.
He'll be here shortly.
Okay, that's
Just
fine.
a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Tideline Marine right here in Jacksonville, 159 Old Bridge Street. That's downtown Jacksonville. Been in that location since the 80s. And he found us.
Mhm.
I heard the bell go
Yeah, I
off.
heard it. Yeah.
Anyway, they've been in business there since the 80s, I guess it is, or early 90s. Been in business in Jacksonville since the early 80s. And they've got lots of stuff there. I was actually photographing a bunch of that stuff yesterday so they can get it up on their website
Oh, nice.
and their new displays and all that sort of good stuff. If you haven't been in there lately, you're missing something. You probably won't recognize it on the inside. George and Elise have been really busting their butts working to get that place looking really cool because lots of new stuff is coming in and it ain't even close to being here yet. I mean, it's close to being here, but it ain't close to being here, if you understand. And when it gets here, they're going to have to build a bigger building.
Nice.
They got that much stuff ordered.
I like it.
Stand by for all of that. Stop by Tideline Marine again. They're at 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Offshore, small craft advisories in effect through this afternoon. Why? Because wind's going to be out of the west at 15 to 20, seas 5 to 7 feet, subsiding to 4 to 5 in the afternoon near shore, seas 3 to 5, dominant period 7 seconds. Sounds and rivers are choppy. Tomorrow, winds out of the north at 15 to 20, diminishing to 5 to 10 in the afternoon. 2 to 4 footers, dominant period 6 seconds. Sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a light chop in the afternoon. And on Sunday, lots of wind. Southeasterly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25 knots. And seas 2 to 3 feet, building to 4 to 6 in the afternoon. Near shore, seas 2 to 4, sounds choppy. And we got this gentleman walking in. This is January, right?
Right. Yeah. And he's in his shorts.
And he walks in here in shorts.
He's got long sleeves on.
And his throne awaits him right there.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
He's got a fleece on.
He's got a fleece on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a fleece on.
Yeah,
I didn't know what this was.
Yeah, there
it's
you
fleece.
go.
Yeah.
John Legato, the man who was lost but has been found.
He's our favorite FBI agent.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
How many do you know?
I only know. You're the only one I know. Yeah.
Yes.
Want to ask me?
Even if I knew
I'm
more,
not
you would
asking
still
you.
be my favorite.
Even with all the ones that I know or have known in the past, you're still my favorite.
Yeah. John's the only one I
See?
know.
There you go.
Well, I don't know what to say. It's early in the morning. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, they did a survey last year on the most recognizable FBI names. And of course, Hoover came in first.
I would assume.
But guess who came in second? Not me, no. My good buddy Joe Pistone.
I'm sure
I
he
knew I was
did.
going to say that.
The stories about Joe.
He's an interesting guy, but you're an interesting man in your own right.
I agree.
In so many different directions. A lot of folks that we know or that make the news and they're in the news, they're in the limelight. They're known for one thing, basically. Pretty much all they've ever done in their lives is one thing. That's not John Legato.
Because I get distracted easily. That's
Hey,
really it.
I've said that too. I get tired, I get bored, I just do something else.
Yeah.
Like in a couple of minutes, I may get up and go in there and it'll be your ballpark. Then you can do it.
Yeah.
I know you can do it though. That's the thing about him. John retired PI. I don't know how he stayed in that position that long.
I was undercover 8 years and I flew. I was a pilot for 5. So I was out of the office for 13 years.
Wow.
Best way to be, right?
What a job to have.
Yeah.
I'd like to have that job.
Well, I mean, I was undercover with the mom, and in fact, I enjoyed that. I always said that the FBI office was more dangerous than undercover with the mob.
Well, given the historic significance of what you just said, absolutely.
Yeah.
Being inside that building, crazy. What do you miss about it?
When I was undercover, the food, the Italians eat so well. We used to eat so well with the mafia eats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have the dinners.
I miss the brotherhood, like with the Marine Corps. I was a Marine, and I miss the brotherhood. I don't miss the office, and I don't miss the bureaucracy. It's interesting because any headquarters of an institution, whether it's Chrysler or the Catholic Church, they have the headquarters, and they have these people up there that obstruct, and they don't even realize they're obstructing the field. And I always said that our mission was to put people in jail. If you got rid of headquarters, the field divisions could still put people in jail. But you got rid of the field divisions, headquarters couldn't put anybody in jail. So to call the FBI headquarters the obstruction palace, the puzzle palace, because rather than, let's just say you had a proposal, would this actually happen? I had an undercover proposal and I sent it up to headquarters and they kept rejecting it. And their job was to get it right, not to just say no. But what had happened is the headquarters had all young office, people up there who hadn't been in the field for long.
Right.
So I'm talking to this guy and he said, "You don't have enough probable cause for this group 2 undercover." And I said, "Yes, I do."
In all of his areas, right?
And all of his experience. So this went on for months. And finally I said something I shouldn't have. I screamed. It was a national, it was a domestic terrorism proposal. And I said, you're the reason terrorists succeed.
Oh.
And I said some other stuff.
Oh.
I like it.
And he said, you still don't have enough for probable cause for a group 2. And I said, let me tell you a story. It's about 20 years ago, there was about 7 agents that came to headquarters to write the guidelines for group 2 undercover proposals.
You were one of them.
I was one of them. I wrote the section on group 2. But they're obstructing. I'll tell you the number of times they've obstructed investigations that caused lives. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about.
Let's talk about 9/11.
I don't want to talk about that. But
the field office agents had the intel, right?
In Minnesota, this is you can look this up.
I know.
70 something emails to this guy named Mike Maltby at headquarters for FISA, which is a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. FISA warrants are easier to get than criminal warrants. You got judges down the hall, who were secret judges, but you know them by Fred and Tom. And you walk down there, hey, how's it going, Mike? Would you sign it? Yeah, sure. He wouldn't give the agents in Minnesota a FISA warrant. I don't know. And he said things like, well, you don't want to ruin your career if it doesn't come out. And 70 times. So they finally said to him, we feel terrorists are going to fly aircraft into American skyscrapers.
That's pretty specific. You know that, right?
Yeah. He rejected it again. So as the first plane hits the World Trade Center, Minnesota called. They said, you got to get us, please get us there. And they said, it's a coincidence.
Nobody in law enforcement anywhere believes in coincidences, do they?
So the second plane hits, they get the warrant. The person that they got the warrant on was Zacharias Musawas, who was the 19th hijacker. And then even after that, they wouldn't admit. So guess what they did to Mike Maltby?
They moved him to
Hope
Alaska.
they retired him.
They promoted him.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And sent him to my office. Yeah.
Oh, joy.
Why?
Did you have fun with him?
Well, there's a scene in one of my books, Dirty Boys, where the character strangles the supervisor.
That was you.
That was his dream.
No. He did it. But he lived.
Mike was just, he wasn't a bad guy. He just, people get full of themselves when they get a little bit of power.
I agree with that. I've seen that quite a few times.
Yeah. And when you have power, again, you have to understand why you're in headquarters. I need to help the field get the mission accomplished.
Yeah.
They don't. And they won't even give you a reason. Rejected. And, but a funny story is I called this guy, and during conversation when I said, you're the reason terrorists succeed, I called him an a-hole, and went on and on, and you don't know what you're talking about. Went on and on and on. And what I didn't know is he wrote me up for insubordination. And
go figure.
Yeah, and he sent it to my boss in Cleveland. So we had a new boss. I'm going into the sub basement one morning, and he's coming out, the boss, and he said, I want to talk to you. And he puts I'll never forget, he put his briefcase down on the floor, and he pulled out a letter. And he said, this is from headquarters. And it said, you're the effing reason terrorists succeed. You're an a-hole. You don't know what you're talking about. Did you write this?
Uh-huh.
And I said, I can't believe it, boss. That guy got everything I said. I can't believe it.
Okay.
Did you actually do that? Say that?
No, I said, yeah. I said, because he is, but what I was amazed at, I said, he's got a fantastic memory. I said all of that, and I probably said some more. I got it in here. Don't worry. He said, stop doing that.
I love it.
I haven't heard that story before. I like that.
Yeah, well,
I like it.
I wish it wasn't true, really.
Why? Oh, you wish you hadn't that you did not need to do that.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
agree with
So,
that.
anyway.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your early part of your life in your teenage years.
This is your life? You guys remember?
I know, right? I'm waiting for the music.
It's just a story.
I'm waiting for the nun to come out.
Yeah.
We have Sister Rosemary.
Because there are out there who are new to the area,
Third
new-
grade teacher.
new to what's going on around us. They don't even know that we have a guy like you living and walking
You're killing me.
among us.
Listen, you're killing me. Let's talk about the weather again.
We'll talk about that in a minute. John, as a teenager, joined the Marine Corps.
Well, I didn't join voluntarily.
You weren't sentenced to either the Marine Corps or jail, were you?
No. In 67, there were three deferments. There was a student, there was a health, and there was a family.
Right.
And I was in college, and I somehow got expelled. And I don't know how. But
Somehow.
yeah, expelled, not suspended. So I lost my student deferment.
Right.
Unfortunately, I was in great health, and I wasn't married. So back in that time, I don't know if you remember, you two don't, but you got drafted within 30 to 50 days in the Army. I mean, you
didn't want to go to the Army.
So what I did is I made the mistake of going to the Triangle Bar across from a prison in South Philly with Carmen Lanuti, who was crazy. And we were drinking shots of whiskey with Schmitt's beer, Philadelphia. And I thought, it was brilliant. I said, well, I'm going to go join the Marine Corps to avoid the Army. Now, you couldn't get in the Navy or Air Force. They had a year waiting list.
Wow.
And so I went to the Marine Corps. Never go to a recruiter drunk. It's like going to the grocery store hungry.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
So I go in and I say, listen, I don't want to go to Vietnam, and I don't want to be in the mud. I don't want to be a grunt or
How'd that
whatever.
work out?
And he said, no problem. He said, you're Italian. He said, if you sign today, I'll get you embassy duty in Rome. And I said, this is great.
You gonna go? I'm gonna force you to go to Rome.
How did that work out?
3 months later, I was at Quang Tri, Vietnam, as a basic rifleman in the mud.
Oh, God.
Best thing to happen to me. Best thing to happen.
Yeah. But anyway, there's as we've talked before, and we did it on the 50th anniversary of the Tet Offensive, 30 days. And this is that same month, 1968.
Yeah.
For a month.
31 January. Yeah. It's a Tet.
Tet Offensive.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to, we were at Quang Tri, and then we went to Con Thien. And then on January 30th of 1968, half of us were sent to Phu-Bai. So we were about 80 Marines. We had a couple officers. The rest of them remained in Quang Tri because it wasn't, we couldn't get all the people in the helicopters for the airlift.
Right.
And so around 2 a.m, we get woken up by our skipper. He said, saddle up. We'll be back by noon. I mean, about 80% of us never got back to Phu-Bai. But it was the beginning of the Tet Offense. We were the initial reaction group in the way during Tet. And awaiting us in Hue City was 10,000 NVA.
80 versus 10,000.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't all in one place, thank God.
Yeah, I understand.
But we were hit, 2 battalions going in, where our commanding officer had his femur severed. The corpsman, God bless corpsman, used an entrenching tool as a splint. We had no officers. So by the time we reached Hue City, half of us were dead or wounded. And the gunnery sergeant, which is an E7, took over as company commander, and an E5 took over as an executive officer.
Wow.
And normally that's a captain's billet and a first lieutenant. So they were way below the pay grade of a company commander. Both of those guys won the Medal of Honor in the first few hours, basically first few days of Hue. And it was just amazing. They were the only 2 Medals of Honor at Hue.
And everybody there deserved one.
No, I don't know about that, but there's an eyewitness, tremendous heroics. I watched my platoon sergeant everybody was wounded. Everybody was wounded because we were hit with such shrapnel was all over the place. And guys were literally pulling shrapnel out with a K-bar or something, flicking it out and abandoning each other. Guys were using their rifles for crutches. They were shot through the leg, and we couldn't get medevacs for a few days. So Golf Company 25 came in later that day. So at that point, there was probably about 150 able-bodied people.
Where was I intel prior to that? You ever ask yourself that?
Yeah, no, I did. I researched it. Task Force X-Ray, which was in Fubai, was 1st Marine Regiment. Their information was there was 2 undersized NBA companies in Wayne running wild, which 2 undersized companies would be, but maybe 200 out of 300, They didn't change that for a week. So in other words, when we went in, I'll give you an example of what I saw as a PFC. We get to the Perfume River. I look across the Perfume River at the Citadel, and I see thousands, I don't know, we weren't counting, but
they were wall to wall
NVA. And I'd never seen at Contian. I saw a few NVA. Quang Tri, it was just, sniper fire and short firefights. And I'm looking across and I'm thinking, well, they must be our guys. They weren't. And they
just in the wrong uniform.
Yeah, well, you couldn't say it was probably 300 yards across the river. But the clue was they had an NVA flag flying on top of the Citadel.
That would be a good clue.
That was a clue. So for 4 days, I mean, we kept, not me, but the gunny kept giving Fubai. There ain't, 2 undersized companies. We don't know how many, but there's a lot. So what happened to Golf Company is they came in after us, and they radioed back. Our battalion commander, Colonel Gravel, kept radioing back saying, "There's many, there's hundreds, thousands. There's more than two companies." And Task Force X-Ray said, "I'm telling you, Lieutenant Colonel Gravel, you're going to send Golf Company across that bridge to help this South Vietnamese general named Truong, who was surrounded at the Citadel. The Citadel was a big palace there." And Lieutenant Colonel Gravel said, "Sir," he said, I don't want to send them in across that bridge." And he said, "You'll do it or I'll relieve you." He sent them across the bridge and they were decimated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
Our guest in the studio, John Legato, Marine during the Vietnam era. In Vietnam, not just during the Vietnam era.
Wait a minute.
Just a lot of,
don't give me the era, because Senator Blumenthal
I just
said 100 times when I was in the jungles of Vietnam.
Ooh.
He was reelected and then elected senator. And he was never in the jungles of Vietnam. He never was in Vietnam.
Oh,
that's why I said, added that to it. You were actually in Vietnam. You were there during that era.
I'm not Senator Blumenthal.
Just the facts, Jack.
What
you were in the trenches.
Slime ball, that guy.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. Back 910-333-0139. If you were in Vietnam during that time, actually, and not just in the Marine Corps in that era, give us a call. I'm sure that you could ask John a few questions. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
On the next Goddard's Gold, it's Neil Diamond. So many stories, so little time for all of his songs. Kentucky Woman, Cherry Cherry, Solitary Man, Song Sung Blue, I'm a Believer, Sweet Caroline, I Am, I Said, You Got to Me, You Don't Bring Me Flowers. Whew. We're going to pack it all into one show. Neil Diamond, Next Gold. Saturdays at 10 a.m. right here on Freedom 97.1 and 1120 a.m. WSME.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Now proud to be working with Drs. Kim and Tommy Morgan, formerly Morgan Family Dentistry. Jacksonville and Richlands Morgan offices of Lane & Associates Family Dentistry blends the latest technology with personal care and attention, so you have an amazing dental experience. The offices of Lane & Associates welcome all ages and accepts all major insurances, including military. Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving the state of North Carolina for over 40 years, with 2 locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call for an appointment today, at 877-LANE-DDS or online at lanedds.com. Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry.
Whether it's a quick bite to go or a sit-down lunch meeting, make the Burrow Restaurant your midday go-to eatery. From small plate appetizers, sandwiches, burgers, and salads, to steak, seafood, chicken, and pasta, there's something for everyone, including a kids menu. Or pick up a Low Country boil from the Burrow's Low Country Kitchen for your next office or family get-together. And craft cocktails to go. Restrictions apply. Ask for details. The Burrow Restaurant, 109 North Front Street in historic downtown Swansboro.
It's live and local. Real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Very distinguished guest in the studio with us. We've got John Legato, a retired FBI and an author. What are we doing here?
Kelly found a news story.
A new story from yesterday. One's from Michigan.
Yeah, I've seen that. Arrested but not convicted.
Nope.
We'll see. We'll see how that works out for them. Anyway, arrested for their so-called participation in the 6th January riots.
Yeah.
Period, whatever you want to call it, mess in D.C. John, after Vietnam, you decided you wanted to do something better with yourself?
No, I went back to college.
Oh, you didn't do anything better with yourself?
No, but what happened is I got registered for classes, but I didn't get housing. So when I went back there,
oh, really?
I couldn't find a place to stay. So I got a tent.
I was going to say, did you bring a shelter half home with you?
No, I went home, or I went to a store and bought an actual tent that I could stand in.
Really?
And it was like the Hilton to me because I had an air mattress, I had a lantern.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
that's how I camp.
But there was this rumor on campus that a disturbed Vietnam vet was living in Rock Falls.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
And I hear it and I'm thinking, where's this guy at? I'd like to meet up with him. And it was me. And I went back last year to Slippery Rock. I was the alumni of the year after getting expelled. And I talked about that. And this woman came up and she said, you were the guy. She said, I heard about the disturbed Vietnam vet living in Rock Falls in a tent.
Oh my heavens.
Yeah.
So you got out of college and you decided that, hey, I need a real job, but I don't really want to work too much.
No, I got my bachelor's and master's, and then I worked 10 years with handicapped children. Seriously.
Oh, that's nice.
Developmentally disabled children.
Did not know that.
Yeah, 10 years. And it was, people ask me what the most rewarding part of my life was, and it was those 10 years working, with developmentally disabled kids.
Oh, we have a question from
really
a viewer.
Yes.
When did you come into the Corps and pit number? Oh, platoon number. That's what it is. I'm like, what's a pit number?
I thought that was.
So did I. I was like, what is this, NASCAR? Like, what's happening right now?
What's your pit number? Platoon number.
It was May of '67, and I was in 274 at Paris Island.
There you have your answer, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know Robert. Yeah.
Yes.
He's our friend.
Yes.
He was there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's lives nearby too. So anyway, so you get out and you go through school. You spend 10 years doing really good work.
It was wonderful. It was
which I applaud you for. I did not know that about you.
Yeah. What I did is I
find new things every time I talk with you.
Yeah, a year or a decade, but we were into deinstitutionalization, and there was this state institution called Polk, and it looked like a movie you would see, black and white movie, and up on a hill. And I remember going in there, and I was naive. I had no background in what I was working in. And we went into this room, and it was like barely lit. And I looked around, I got my eye adjusted, and it was all these people in fruit carts with blankets. And it was horrible. And so what we did over the decade is we got the higher functioning ones that could live in the community in group homes. And so that was a wonderful 10 years.
Okay. So you decided to become a cop.
Well, I wanted to
get an agent.
Yeah. I applied. What happened to that program is I got promoted, and then what happened, the feds took over. It was a state, and the feds are no fun to play with regulation. So I took the test for the CIA, FBI, and naval intelligence. And it's a long process, as Robin knows. You go on for a year, and so I'm going through the interview process with all three. And like a year later, I basically within 2 or 3 months had offers for all three. And the CIA's process is very squirrely. I can tell you something. I would get calls at midnight. But anyway, so my wife says, you're going into the FBI. And the reason she picked, she said that she didn't want to go overseas a lot. And naval intelligence, you get deployed every 18 months or something for 6 months, something like that. So he said, you're going in the FBI because you'll be at home.
How did that work out?
I was undercover 8 years.
Yeah. Somebody's home somewhere.
Yeah.
But the FBI was the right pick for me because my father was a Philadelphia cop, and I enjoyed, working on the street, and it worked out well. I spent 13 years out of the office.
Yeah, pretty much what you called, and I love the term, and I've used it many times since then. I had not heard it before. Brick agent.
Brick agent.
You beat the bricks down.
I've talked with some assistant directors and high-level people in government that were brick agents. You start out as a brick agent, and they retired as assistant directors, SACs, and most of them say, "I wish I never went into management." And the reason is you don't join, NCIS or the FBI or DEA to initial stuff all day and attend meetings. And in the FBI, the first level of supervisor, that you go into, the first level, you never leave the office again. You're doing this thing called interrogatories. All this, that's all you do.
Yeah. But, I actually enjoyed patrol more than anything else. Just working the streets as a cop.
That's the best duty.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You don't have many people to report to. Just get your job done.
When you did it with the musket and
today's different, I'm sure.
But you could get this is a wrong way of saying it. You could do more. You can do your job more with less somebody over your shoulder, unless your chain of command supported you.
And when you get on the radio and call you and you say, you're breaking up, I can't quite. Not that I've ever done that, but John's done it too. That's the thing. So during your tenure with the FBI, I know we've touched on it a little bit. Oh, we better take a break, hadn't we?
Take a break first.
You're live in local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, Undercover with John in a strip club. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Heating and Air Conditioning, your trusted local carrier indoor weather team, serving all of your heating and air conditioning needs since 1967. Now offers residential and commercial duct and dryer vent cleaning, and now offers expert residential and commercial plumbing service. In case of a power outage due to a storm or for any other reason, be prepared with a Generac generator for your home or business. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning has Generac generators in stock, ready to install today. Remember, better breathing comes with cleaner air. Let Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning improve the air quality in your home or business with professional air duct cleaning. As always, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning is available 24/7 for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing emergency needs. Turn to the carrier experts, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, with locations in Jacksonville and Hampstead. Visit online, humphreyheating.com, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning since 1967. Relax, we're on the way.
Hello, shoppers. Take advantage of the following specials and many more at your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store where good things cost less. Down home, down the street on the Richlands Highway, Jacksonville, and Main Street in Maysville. Half-cut boneless ribeye loin, just $11.59 a pound. Whole sirloin tip, $3.49 a pound. Fresh ground round is $3.79 a pound. How about whole fresh picnic, just $1.69 a pound. Bone-in sirloin chops, just $1.29 a pound, and split chicken breast is only $2.29 a pound. And remember, the beef and pork is cut fresh every day by the butchers at your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store, and they use only the finest and certified Angus beef and Sanderson's Farm chicken. Over in produce, zucchini or yellow squash, just 99 cents a pound. California navel oranges are only $3.99 for a 3-pound bag. How about a 5-pound bag of red, white, or russet potatoes tomatoes, just $3.99. Extra large green bell peppers, just 99 cents each. A 3-pack of large slicing tomatoes is only $2.99. And sweet, delicious red cherries, just $4.99 a pound. And you get 4 6-packs of Coke or Sprite for just $14. That's your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store where good things cost less. Down home down the street on the Richlands Highway, Jacksonville, and Main Street in Maysville. Remember, say big with the pig.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
It's live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Little surprising news here that Kelly just told us about. There's a Russian vessel of some sort or another. Might be spying on us, gathering intel out there near
Off in Hawaii.
Oh, they've been watched. They got drones on them, everything.
Yeah, checking them out.
Yep, big. Well, if you're surprised that they're there,
Me? No.
no.
That's what we did.
If anybody is surprised they're there, shame on you.
Well,
but anyway,
do you remember years ago they had a cartoon called Spy versus Spy versus
I
Spy?
remember that.
Yeah. That's what we do. We spy on them. Who's the better spy?
Yeah, or the one less likely to get caught at it or whatever. So you spend some time, jokingly said, your time undercover in a strip club. You weren't a dancer. You weren't a pole dancer or anything.
How do you know that?
I've heard from some sources.
No, I was a silent owner in a chain of clubs. And I had to go to them because of my job.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because that's where the mob and the bad people would gather quite often, right?
Well, look, I'm not divulging any secrets. That to be in a successful undercover operation, you have to have backstopping. In other words, you can't just drop out of the sky.
Nope.
You have to, when they look at you, they have to see something. You got to create an illusion. In fact, we've had unsuccessful undercover operations where the mob said, "Who is this guy? We don't know him. He doesn't do anything to him. How do you get his money?" You know, so you create this illusion in 4 ways. I'm not going to get into an undercover class here, but one of the ways is you need backstopping. You have to have a job. You have to have a reason to get up in the morning because they do, you know. And so my backstopping was I was in Vegas. I had a warehouse of stolen goods. And I parlayed that. I made a made guy out there named Ronnie Maraza. And I told him I wanted to make a move. And so he referred me to an acting boss who I knew he was in Maraza and him shared a cell block at Lewisburg. And then I became a silent owner of a gentleman's club. It was tough work.
I'm sure it was. During that time, you had dealings with any number of mobsters, but you also had dealings with local police officers who had dealings with the mob, right?
Yeah, listen.
That's tough.
Let me tell you something. That was the low point in my career because what had happened was this. It was an organized crime case. It was not a corruption case.
Mm-hmm.
My father was a Philadelphia cop. I had done maybe 1 or 2 investigations, civil rights were claims against police officers. And fortunately, there was nothing there. But what happened is this guy sees me, the gentleman's club. He was a corrections officer or deputy sheriff. I can't even remember. And he was a bouncer. A lot of cops do extra work.
Part-time work.
Yeah, part-time work. And he kept coming up. He said, Mr. C, he says, he knew, he didn't know the details, but there was wise guys around me, made guys around me in the club all the time. And, it's my persona, he says, if you ever need cops that you could trust, let me know. And I said, I don't need any effing, I don't, because I knew what he was saying, but I didn't want to get into corruption. So 6 months later, he said it again. And I never wrote it up because, once you write something up,
It's there forever.
Yeah. Well, and that's what happened eventually is there was another undercover that came in and he heard the conversation.
Uh-oh.
What was the 4th time? I chased the guy off 3 times. I said, I don't want to have anything to do with dirty cops. I don't trust them. And so he wrote it up and the bosses said, you will find out if there are dirty cops.
So that became part of your undercover campaign.
It was horrible. eventually arrested like 50 something, corrections officer, police officers. One cop came to a drug deal in a dare car. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But what I did now, the FBI has been accused, rightfully so, of manipulating corruption cases. I'll give you an example. My dear friend had a case. It was a gambling house, and there were some dirty cops, and it was just a gambling house, first of all. And they paid this cop $300 to guard the parking lot. The guy had 3 or 4 kids. And so he doesn't want to know what I'll guard, I need the money. And one night they called him into the where they had cameras, and they said, look, this is an illegal gambling place. Here's your money. They ended up indicting that cop. And I didn't want that to be a BS case. Like I said, my father would have guarded the parking lot. You know what I mean? I would have guarded the parking lot if I was a cop. But to bring him in and then say it was dirty, was wrong. So what I did is I wrote a script. And what I said is I quoted Title 18. I forget the 346 on narcotics. And I told the cops, what you're about to do tomorrow is illegal. You could go to jail under Title 18, Section 846 for 5 to 10 years for cocaine. And my boss has said, you can't say cocaine because you'll scare them off. You can't say it. I'm saying cocaine. And and I gave them 24 hours to change their mind. So when the cases came to trial, the defense said, hey, idiot,
You're done deal.
Yeah, you gave you time to change. He quoted the federal statute. You can't say you didn't know. But it was terrible that we arrested about 100 and something people at the end of 4 years. It was like 50 wise guys and 50 cops. And at the time, it was the biggest corruption case in the country. And you know who ended it? Janet Reno. And what happened? Yeah. No, but what happened was I told him that I didn't want to use the same crew every time. So he said, we'll get you different cops every time. And so when we reached around 50, Reno said to my boss, how many more cops do you think you can get? And so they asked me, and I said, hey, Guido, whatever his name was. His name was Michael Joy, but he thought he was Italian. And I have you can find this on the internet somewhere.
Stolen valor, right?
Yeah, stolen valor. That's a stolen of valor.
A valor.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said, I can get you all the dirty cops you want. So they went back to the attorney general, and she said, take it down. It would ruin the culture, would ruin the morale of police officers if we kept going. And at the time, I didn't want, but she made the right call.
Amazing. Take a break. Fox News is coming up right now. You're live and local. Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. John, retired special agent with the FBI, Marine, an author. We're going to get into that. A podcaster, a movie producer, all sorts of good stuff around here. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246CJ, Jacksonville.
Fox News. I'm Chris Foster. The actor Alec Baldwin's attorney says they will fight and beat involuntary manslaughter charges for cinematographer Helena Hutchins' shooting death in 2021.
The attorney essentially blaming others on the set of the low-budget movie Rust for not checking the gun. Prosecutors argue that not only was Alec Baldwin responsible for checking the gun before using it during a scene rehearsal, but as a producer, he also had a wider responsibility for safety on the set.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. A Supreme Court investigation into the leak of its abortion decision last year comes up empty.
Dozens of interviews and cyber forensics have so far, based on the preponderance of evidence, not determined who the individual was to leak a draft opinion of the Supreme Court's Dobbs ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. The decision was leaked the month before it was announced. America's listening to Fox News.
Freedom 97.1
WSME.
It's live and local. Real talk.
And we're back. And John Legato is our guest. He's making a quick call here. He'll be right back.
Yeah, and just for anyone that's listening on our Facebook page, on our Facebook live feed and our YouTube live feed, I posted the information on his podcast show. And I'll go back on our Facebook and do a regular post on it later. But there's a lot of podcasts.
Y'all need to look at his podcast on YouTube.
He's
you can subscribe to his channel, but
Yeah,
worth the information. These are good. Yes. Definitely go on and look at his podcast.
I mean, I've known him for a number of years now.
Yeah.
And
Same.
he's every time that we get together like this, there's something new that comes out.
I know. I love his stories.
There's stuff that I don't know about him.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? It's like first time I've met him and some of the things.
I told you I met him in 2015 when I was trying to find a guest speaker for our Lincoln Reagan dinner for the Republican Party. And he was referred to me by someone else. And just looking up his information, I thought he's so interesting. So he was our guest speaker that year. And I will tell you what, he captivates you with the stories.
He does.
We
He
really
does
enjoyed
exactly
having
that.
him.
And like I told you, he was the guest speaker at the Marine Corps birthday ball a few years ago. And I was pleased to be invited to attend, and we did. And it's captivating just to listen to his stories there.
Yes.
And to watch the young Marines who all had read about things like the Tet Offensive, or they were taught about it in basic, I guess. But it was really the CG at the time.
Right.
He was really interesting, and he knew John. I don't know how many generals out there know John.
Yeah.
And they know of him, about him, and everything. But he's an interesting guy. He'll be joining us again in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I have another question for him when he comes back from a listener. But I ended up moving from my table and sitting at his table with a lot of the other retirees and my dad. And it was the best time I've had. It was wonderful listening to their stories and what great, courageous men they are.
Yeah, I think one of the folks, the one that set up for me to meet John on the air with me the first time, right after that. So we've known him about the same length of time. We're just talking about you, John, and how every time I meet you or talk with you or sit down for a few minutes or on the show like this, I learned something new about you. And I learned, so you've had a very long and distinguished career. I was going to say life, but that would be like it's the end of it, but it's not. You're still going strong. And
I've passed the life expectancy.
I
have. I'll be 76 here.
Well,
You're still young.
I'm only a year behind you.
I still have another question from a listener.
I do too, but you go with yours.
After being undercover, was it difficult to adjust back to a normal life? Also, do you find yourself using your old self undercover techniques in real life now by accident? Love your life story. Very interesting. Thank you for your service.
I think he does that on purpose. Forget by accident.
There's no accident involved. It's malice aforethought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is tough to come back, and it's like coming back from war. You spend 4 years going, hey. In fact, Joe Pistone, Donnie Brasco has never come back. He's still out there. It is hard to get back into the office, the adjusting to the office. I mean, you used to saying, pass me the effing coffee, and in an FBI office, you
don't do that.
You can't do that. So that takes time. Anyway, there's stories about me coming. There was a guy. Well, I'll tell you a quick one. I'm back in the office like a week, and there was this guy I never liked. And I'm at the copy machine, and he said something, and I said, normally it was just me. And I remember throwing him against the wall, just like I want to get that. And I said, what am I doing? But that's how you handle with the mob. You cannot, like I had a guy named, he was gigantic and he hated.
You cannot be just a wuss inside when you're undercover.
No, once anybody in that world, whether it's, a SWAT team, undercover mob, once they lose respect for you, you're done. You are done. So even if you're going to get your butt kicked, you can't let somebody pick on you, and, and it happens because you don't have your gun and badge. You can't call timeout. So in years that I was undercover, there were guys that didn't like me. I mean, that's not normal. Not everybody's going to like you. and one big guy didn't like me. And you got to deal with it. I mean,
and you're not like a huge 6'5" tall cop.
on radio, I am.
Well, that leads to someone had when you were undercover, was there ever a time where a serious event unfolded where someone legitimately seriously questioned whether you were a cop? Not, a suspicion or I don't know if I trust this guy, but like they were like adamant, this guy is a cop. Did that ever happen?
Yeah, what happened? Mob guys don't have formal education, but they have street smarts.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, you take with you clues of who you are. And I was a Marine, and now the Marine thing I could tell them.
Yeah.
Because I got a tattoo or something.
Yeah.
But even in law enforcement, I'll give you a better example of that. I had a young agent, and he had never lived in the inner city, but he looked Italian. He was mustache. He was a bodybuilder. And he was talking, we were at a dinner with wise guys, and he's talking a couple of seats down from me to this wise guy about cars. And he did two things. And he said, yeah, I like a certain vehicle.
Oh, no.
And it was like chalk on it when he said vehicle. So, but what I'm getting at is I had sunglasses once, and the mob guys looked and they said, those look like cop sunglasses. And oh yeah, you're challenged all the time, and you just gotta, what are you talking about? I did this business with Joey, or I'm vouched for you. You don't want to do business with me? Screw you. And I would
move on.
Yeah, no, I would get on the offensive. Be insulted, because what would the natural thing be? You'd be insulted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If somebody called you a communist.
Right. I'm gonna get ticked off. Yeah.
You're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did something once. I shouldn't have to tell you this story real quick.
At the table.
At the table.
Too much vino.
No, a couple glasses. It was all wise guys. I was at the end of the table. I wasn't made. I was a mope, and we're drinking, and they're just wise guys. So I said, I got an announcement to make. Yeah. Stand up there. I said, I got bad news for you guys. I am a deep undercover agent for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You guys are all under arrest.
No way.
Of course, they laughed.
Well, you weren't lying, but
they laughed. They threw ice at me. Sit down.
Oh my!
It could have gone so sideways.
No, it couldn't.
No.
Look, let me give you the bad. It sounds weird, but I had been with them like 2 years.
Oh, okay.
I had been to their families' house. But I don't know what. But I thought maybe it seemed like a good idea at the time.
How about that one guy that did not like you that was in there who said, well, maybe I better check this dude out a little bit deeper.
Because you know what? I was making money for them.
Okay.
If you make money, in other words, that's the other thing in answer to one of your questions. You have to fulfill a need to the mafia, because they grew up with the guys that were their cousins. They knew them in school. You're dropping out of the sky.
Correct. Yeah.
So you need a vouch, but you need to fulfill a need. So what I did is several things. One is we had vending machines that we seized, the FBI. And I went and got a truckload of vending machines, poker machines, and I distributed it at all the mob bars and social clubs, and we all got a cut.
Okay.
And the other thing is I had access to jewelry. FBI seized jewelry, and I would sell it to them in mink coats. I would, so I was fulfilling a need. And then when I was the silent owner of the Gentlemen's Club, then I'd get them drinks, I'd get them lap dances, and not that I ever had one.
But that way they didn't question,
right?
Because it seemed like, okay, well, he's too invested to be not one of us.
No, what I went when this guy, and answer the Rayford's question, when he said this big guy, I went to a boss and I said, you tell it, if it becomes Mary, I want to, and the guy said, no, you're an earner. That guy was just muscle.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you're earning for them, they'll
take care of you.
Yeah.
Good. Well, now you get out of the FBI. You didn't get expelled.
I retired.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you got out. You're out of the FBI. You're retired, and suddenly you decide you're going to become an acclaimed author. How did that work out?
I don't even know what acclaim means.
Yeah, well,
it's an
no.
open-ended.
Mhm.
I always, as I wrote for newspapers years ago, the college newspaper, and that stuff. So I enjoyed writing. So I'd be reading a book, and I think, this sucks. I could do better. Really. And unfortunately, I was stationed in New York City with the FBI, and met some authors. And I got my first break with a woman called Lucy Freeman, since deceased. And we got a book. My first book was called Lurza's Lives, a mafia book, written under my daughter's name. And then from there, I had an agent. And then, if you have a decent quality. So that's how I got into it. But I enjoy writing.
And some of your books, Dirty Boys in particular, is one that I really do like. But some of your books have to be screened, even as a retired FBI agent.
Yes.
If you want to keep your pension, right?
So what happened first is agents screened them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wrote a book on organized crime, they would send it to the organized crime section at headquarters and some guy. So the first book that I wrote was on organized crime. And they redacted So what, like, for example, I used cocaine. They said, you can't say cocaine. We have active investigations in cocaine. And I used an Italian name, and they said, you can't use this Italian name. It sounds too much like a subject we're investigating.
Oh my.
What
Oh,
Italian?
my.
So they didn't want me to publish. So I got the message. But then what happened lately after I retired is they hired civilians to screen, to vet the books.
Oh, really?
They had no clue. Yeah.
They had no clue.
Yeah.
And I always felt guilty. But the last vetter was a female, retired, or she was in the Navy or I forget, Air Force. She was cool. She said, I'm reading this book and I agree, with what you wrote. And it was the Comey Gang.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm amazed that one got through the publication. That one shocked me.
Well, I don't know.
She liked it. So she said, pass this or.
Right.
There
you go.
Here's what you got to avoid. Anything investigative techniques, you can't show investigative techniques or active That's it. So what had happened in the meantime is some agents sued them. They wouldn't allow agents to, basically, they didn't say it, but they don't want any agents publishing books. And the agents said, listen, we're retired. This is our livelihood now, our second job. And they took it to court, I think. I'm not sure, but I know that there was some legal action. And then the Bureau said, we got to stick to the rules. If it's not divulging sensitive operations or investigative techniques, you got to approve it.
Oh, I got us right there. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We're going to move up. We're going to put another line up over there.
Yes.
I didn't realize it came in so bright there.
I was about to confess stuff.
There was a light and rubber hose around here somewhere.
That's like coming in here in the morning. It's dark. As soon as you get out of the vehicle, you get this bright light that turns on. You feel like it's the cops.
As soon as you get out of where?
Into the driveway, out of the car.
Hey, the car.
The car.
The car.
The car.
I don't have a car. I have
Well,
a
you don't.
truck.
I heard that.
That's right.
Easier to haul bodies in.
That's right. Throw them in the back. Let's go. Let's go to the train station.
Ooh, or the stream
Or
station.
the stream station. Yes.
The Gulf Stream. Do you ever watch what's that thing called?
Yellowstone.
Have you seen that?
Oh, you've got to watch it.
It's just kind of hilarious. There's Montana.
Yes.
And longtime family that owns a lot of property there, and people just that cross them, they take them to the train station. The train station is a very deep gully, and is bordering a county that has zero population. There's no law enforcement. There's
Right.
nothing. No investigations about missing people. Nothing.
The train station.
The train station.
It's code
That's
now,
what they
yeah.
call it. So I now call it the stream station.
Yeah, we
the
call
Gulf
it the stream station. Going for a boat ride to the stream station.
Anyway, we'll get back to that. The story in just a minute too. We go to a little bit of weather here, and part of this weather is kind of related to you too, because the sponsor of our marine forecast every day is Tideline Marine, and John has had some experience there, not as an FBI agent, thank God, with the folks down. What are you doing?
No, on my phone.
I thought you were looking for a gun or something.
No, I left it in the head.
The phone or the gun?
I took the cannoli, not the gun. Don't worry about it.
The head.
Anyway, Tideline Marine, you had a little dealings there. They treat you nice?
Yeah, they did. I got a great motor, right? I don't even know if they're going.
It's an engine, motor, or whatever.
Yeah, and they did treat. They've done stuff and they've done stuff above and beyond what they should do. If you're a customer, they'll take care of you.
Your customer there, they will take care of you. I'm a customer, and I also work there part time, just to afford some of my habits. And habits are 3 boats.
What do? You tell them Vito sent you.
Vito sent me down to see you. I speak a Spanish type stuff instead of.
It's really a bad accent. Don't ever do accents again.
They love the accents, especially when I say rough.
I like that.
Kelly loves rolling the R's.
I can't do that. I cannot roll my tongue like that. No, I think it's so cool when people do that. No, like
okay, seeing the look on John's face, it's time to go.
Well, we have to go to a commercial break first.
That's what we're in.
That kind of commercial.
Oh, that kind of commercial.
Yeah.
We'll do that too.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll be right back right after this with weather and a whole lot more. And John Legato, your live and local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
We've unlocked the vaults, and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 7th. This week is from January 23rd, 1971. That's when Chicago asked, does anybody really know what time it is? Gordon Lightfoot wondered if you could read my mind. Lynn Anderson never promised you a rose garden. And Dawn knocked 3 times. You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from January 23rd, 1971, right here on American Top 40, the 70s.
Check out Casey Saturday mornings, 7 to 10 a.m. on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME.
What kind of off-roading, boat towing, fish catching, mud splashing, kid hauling, shopping, mauling, ball throwing, beach going fun are you getting into this year? Do it in a new Ram or Jeep from National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Come get bodacious savings now during the Start Something New sales event. Visit National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Jacksonville.
It's a national thing. Go National!
If you own rental property but don't have time or expertise to manage it, entrust Fountain Management with managing your rental properties. There will be no disappointments. Fountain Management is very receptive to answering any questions along the way. If you're looking for an honest, professional, friendly management company, call Fountain Management today, 910-455-1609, or visit Fountain Management at 255 Williamsburg Parkway, Jacksonville.
Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing specializes in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting. In fact, they paint most anything except cars, including homes, businesses, apartment complexes, decks, and they do minor repairs, wood repairs, pressure washing, waterproofing, and more, including storm repair and cleanup. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing, fully licensed, insured, and locally owned and operated by Roger Carroll Jr. References available and customer satisfaction is always guaranteed. So if you want it painted, maintained, power washed, or need a new roof, call Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, and Power Wash 939-0749 or visit southerntouchnc.com. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing salutes our troops and is proud to be part of the continued growth of Onslow and surrounding counties.
If you plan to rebuild, remodel, repair, or do cottage or home improvements, Williams Hardware, 3011B Bridges Street, Morris City, should be your first stop. Williams Hardware carries power tools and equipment, chains and fasteners, plumbing and electrical supplies, along with Gerber, Buck, and Case knives. Williams Hardware is your helpful handy hardware store. Williams Hardware glass to size, and custom thread spike. When the chores are done and the cleanup is finished, light up that Wilmington grill from Williams Hardware. Williams Hardware, 3011 B Bridge Street, Morehead City. Open Monday through Saturday from 7:30 till 6 p.m. and Sundays for your convenience, noon till 5. Phone Williams Hardware, 252-726-7158.
It's live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
And we're back to talk to my Tideline Marine first. Tideline Marines at 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. They got all sorts of fishing gear there. They've got some brand new stuff. John Legato's going to go down and buy a whole bunch of fishing stuff because he's never been fishing in his life. Is that right, John?
That's correct.
It's about time.
Proud of it.
We're going to take you fishing.
You live on the water.
I could fish from my back porch.
You can, and there's fish there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of people fish from right there.
I know.
Yeah, one of those boats right beside yours. Big guy fishes down there all the time.
24 hours a day.
Pretty much. I think so. He's always there. Anyway, Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, downtown Jacksonville. Stop by and see them. They got all sorts of cool stuff for you. There is a small craft advisory in effect through this afternoon. John, don't take your pontoon offshore today, okay?
Darn.
You won't. Westerly winds, 15 to 20 knots, seas 5 to 7 feet offshore. They'll come down to 4 to 5 this afternoon. Near shore seas 3 to 5, dominant period 7 seconds. Sounds and rivers are choppy, not rough. Saturday, tomorrow, northerly winds 15 to 20, diminishing to 5 to 10 in the afternoon, 2 to 4 footers. Dominant period 6 seconds. And on Sunday, southeasterly winds 15 to 20 with gusts to 25 knots, seas 2 to 3, building to 4 to 6 in the afternoon. Near shore seas 2 to 4, sounds and rivers only choppy.
Today, sunny, high of 65, gusty winds with gusts up to 20 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 33, so it's going to be cold. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 54. Winds not bad tomorrow. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 37. Sunday, 100% chance of rain, 1 to 2 inches possible. Gusty winds as high as 24 miles an hour and a high of only 63.
Yeah, it could be worse. It could be a high of about 28.
Yeah, I
and
agree
rain.
with that. Yep.
And when that happens, it's going to
That
be
would be
something
snow.
else.
Yes.
Or ice.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate both.
Oh, we don't get that. You live on the river. You get some winds down there from
Mhm.
time
Oh,
to time that light you up, right?
We could go in the back and be howling, and you go in the front of the house and there's no wind.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. You write books. You're still doing it.
Mhm.
You produced a movie, basically, a documentary.
Film. I'm a
film.
filmmaker,
Yes.
and you were the narrator.
Yes.
Let me a quick Rayford story. I couldn't get a narrator, but the person that narrated the last documentary I was in was Rob Lowe.
Okay.
I can't go to Rob Lowe and say, "Would you?" So I'm listening to all these documentaries. I said, no. I said, wait a minute,
Rayford, yeah.
and he did a better job
Oh, it was
than
excellent.
99% of all these documentaries.
Mhm.
You really did. You cut down a little of the southern stuff.
He did.
What you mean by that?
Bless you.
Was it more better? Much more better?
Much more better.
Much more better.
Oh, my word.
No, you were fantastic.
John scripted this thing, and we'll get into that story because that is one of the most moving stories that I knew nothing about
I teared up.
before I saw your script.
You know, Marines know nothing about
I know
it.
that.
Marines know
I
nothing.
saw them at the screening.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And it's a piece of Marine Corps history that no one knows about. And it's 4th Marine Division, but no one knows about them.
But when John brought the script, and this is just a very small part of this whole operation, but he brought the script to me, and I hadn't seen any video. I didn't know anything about it. There's not a whole lot written about it anywhere.
No.
Until what I read.
Mhm.
So I said, well, I gotta. The more I started thinking about it, the more I could see and feel. But I had not seen any video. I had not seen anything.
You're not supposed to do it that way, but go ahead.
You're not supposed to do it that way. You're supposed to get into the whole thing. If you're going to be writing, if you're a news guy, you're supposed to understand what's going on. They don't, but you got to understand, supposed to understand what's going on. And I knew nothing about it except what John wrote. So John is a historian first with this piece. Absolute. His research was done, and I learned. And when I learned, I said, you know what? I can put myself in that situation. Few little things that like pronunciations and some weird stuff out there in the South Pacific. So, but we both kind of we went over it time and again and again and again and again and again, and it worked out. I enjoyed it. I was actually proud to be part of it.
Yeah, a common reaction is that the people get teary-eyed with it.
Yeah.
What it was, real briefly, is there was a 4th Marine Division in World War II. They formed it here at Lejeune. We needed Marines, so they emptied the brigs. They gave these guys a choice. You know, you can be in a 4th Marine Division or stay in the brig, and you get your bad conduct discharge. So they take these guys, train them here real quick. They go right into combat, never been done before. In other words, they deploy from training, never been in a battle, and they go to the Marshall Islands, which was a big battle.
Mm-hmm.
They kick butt. 2 weeks later, they go to Saipan, one of the biggest battles.
Oh, my.
And Lee Marvin was in the 4th Marine Division, and we interviewed his wife for like hours. So there's 22, they killed 22,000 Japanese soldiers.
And how many of them were there?
25,000, I think.
No, I'm talking about how many 4th Marine guys were there at that time.
10,000.
And they killed 22,000.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, and then, okay, so that's 2 iconic Marine Corps. We think they're done. There was an island 3 miles from Saipan called Tinian, which is another iconic Marine Corps battle. They went in Tinian. So they're so busted up. They had, I don't know, 14,000 Purple Hearts or something, and they lost so many men that they send them back to Maui to regroup for a month. They board ships. They say, get on deck. You're going to have a muster on deck. And they said, we're going to this place called Iwo Jima. So the 4th and the 5th Marine Division were the 2 divisions that won Iwo Jima. So in a matter of, like, I don't know, 6 months, the 4th Marine Division was in Marshall Islands, Saipan, Tinian, and Iwo Jima. No Marine knows about them. Enlisted, officer, past, present. No one knows about the 4th Marine Division.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this film is called The Last Muster. And how this came about, 2015, this group had been getting together as they disappeared too, as they died off since World War II. They had been getting together every year or every few years.
No, every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
Survivors were getting together every year to hold another muster, basically.
And they realized that they couldn't go on because they were all dying, and there were guys came in wheelchairs, and so they said, we're going to have a final muster at our birthplace, Camp Lejeune. And they came here in wheelchairs, and the base rolled out the best for them for 3 days.
That's awesome.
And John was there with the camera shooting all of this.
Yeah. I felt like Cecil B. DeMille.
but gathering audio and everything else, and then started putting stuff together. He interviewed people in the Marine Corps that they had to learn about this whole stuff before they could even talk to you.
Yeah.
They didn't know. They were officers that you talked with. They didn't know anything about this.
It was amazing. But I ask retired generals and Craig Playground. They don't know me. But some of the scenes were just so touching. They were in a tent at the field house on the parade ground.
I'd get you.
And the first row was guys in wheelchairs. Second row was guys in walkers. And the Marine Corps band came by with the Marine Corps flag, playing the Marine Corps hymn. And I got photos of these guys in the wheelchair trying to get up.
Oh, my.
And I got photos of the guys in walkers helping the guys in wheelchairs get up.
That makes me cry every time.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. They're holding on to the pole and trying to salute at the same. Oh, yeah.
It just.
That's awesome. I think that is awesome.
So we're going to, obviously I've seen it. Finally, I saw it on my computer first, and then I saw it on the big screen out there at the base for a screening with a number of guests and Marines. And I was moved still then. And I've seen it a bunch of times. We're going to see it anywhere else? This one has got to go on the military channel or somewhere. It needs to be broadcast.
I'm working on it.
for the world to see because they don't know anything about this.
It is missing history of the Marine Corps. It's
It
missing.
is.
You can't find anything on them.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
I tried.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were talking about when you first brought it to my attention. I said, "What? I've been around here all my life. I don't know anything about this."
You know, the funny thing is they would not allow anybody else to join that association. I have a friend here, Lieutenant General Gary McKissick, who we went to opposing colleges. He went to a diploma mill, but anyway, that's and he
General, it's okay.
So anyway, he was an I in Pittsburgh or somewhere, and he said he was in the 4th Marine Division or something, and he said, "Can I join your association?" And they said, "No, you weren't you weren't in the Pacific with us." So they just
No
kept
stolen valor here, is there?
Well, I like that. Good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a call from another good friend of mine, and some dude that she knows a little bit too. Good morning, Robin. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to say hello to John. I got the deepest respect for you, brother. Listening to your stories and what you've done, as a Marine, as an FBI agent, I've got total admiration for you and what you've done, and I just wanted to tell you that and say hi. And we need to get together soon and talk, man, because I'd love to listen to you.
Yeah, you're my brother, law enforcement. You know, you're my 1811 buddy, and I got the deepest respect for you, Robin.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, you brought up something today, talking about memories and stuff. And, I had a Zoom meeting with a bunch of people that I came up with in NCIS back in the 80s that I hadn't seen or heard from in over 30 years. And that Zoom meeting was pretty tough. Some of the guys that we came up with, are long gone. They passed away. But it is always refreshing to hear you and your stories, and I just wanted to tell you, I'm really proud of what you've done and with your books and your documentary and how candid you are, and I just love you, man, and I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I love you too, brother.
Thank you, Robin.
Take care, John.
Yeah, be
Bye,
safe.
Robin.
Robin Knapp, retired NCIS, a really good friend, and he's a county commissioner here in Oslo County as well, vice chairman.
There is the brotherhood.
There is.
There is the brotherhood.
Forevermore.
And automatic respect, but anyway, and same thing with Marines,
Yeah, yeah, it's always there. You're always a Marine until you screw up and they kick you out, right? Then you're an ex-Marine, but otherwise you're always a Marine.
Yeah, even though you're a former Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who got kicked out?
Other people have, they've been arrested and they did really bad things.
Oh, you mean generally?
Generally
Oh, I thought you
speaking.
were talking about somebody specifically.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a minute,
so
who are we talking about? Who
here's
got
another
kicked out
story
here?
I
Yeah.
haven't heard.
We
Yeah.
all recruit from the human race, whether it's law enforcement, and
I know
we're
that.
not going to be
And not everybody's perfect.
No.
But
Not
the
every
problem I have
organization.
now with the FBI and the Marine Corps is that they're eating their own for things that they shouldn't eat them for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Stupid stuff.
Mhm.
Stupid
Yes.
stuff.
Vaccinations, whatever.
I was playing golf about 10 years ago with this event, and this tattooed young Marine. And after the 10th hole, he said, "Do you know who I am?" And I said, "No." He said, "I was one of the Marines that urinated on."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they just busted him. I think it was a sergeant or a staff sergeant that busted him. And he says, "I got to get out. They're making, I
Making
gotta
it
leave.
rough for him.
I don't want to leave the Marine Corps." And we talked, and I was a Lance Corporal, so we had a great talk. And then a year later he overdosed.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I know exactly who
The,
you're talking about.
Yeah.
One mistake they made,
Mhm.
that stupid camera.
I'm not going to get into war crimes, but no. But the guy was dead. If you could piss on me if I died, I'm not there anymore. Anyway.
One of the things I will say about that, because I know one of the guys I know who you're talking about because I knew who he was, and a friend of his that I know personally, that was one of the guys that had to get out for that. This was a retaliation for something that had been done to the Marines.
Yep. Right. It was payback.
And it just became political. I think they got caught up in
Of course.
politics.
That's
It's
right.
very sad. Yeah.
Quick story about it's in my book.
Mhm.
In Vietnam, there was a dead NVA officer. it was chaos. There's bodies all over the street.
Yeah.
So he put him in a chair in the middle of propped him up, and he had a Playboy book and put a cigar in his mouth. And he now, during the course of the 31-day battle, I would go past that guy sitting, the road guard, I called him, and smile. And I'm thinking, if the guy was, dead looking down, he said, "Look, I don't mind sitting."
Yeah.
But they had the anyway.
Oh yeah, I read the book. Good morning, Joy. How are you?
Good morning, all. How are you? How are you guys doing?
We's guys are being fine, but we're not wise guys.
You guys are being wise guys.
Yo, who the heck is this?
I love your story, your career. Everything you're sharing is just so interesting. I could listen to you forever.
Oh, thank you.
I need to ask you a quick question. 2 questions, matter of fact. When you first meet someone, do you sort of profile them when you first meet them? Just have a instinct?
Absolutely. I taught a class at the FBI Academy called Interviews and Interrogation. Signs of deception.
I think she's talking about just the people on the street, the people who come up and talk to you.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
In this one class, I had the students. I had a guy walk in the first day, and I said, "Come here." I said, "You work with your hands." People give off clues.
Yes, sir.
You will T-shirts or with stuff. That's a clue to you. Your haircut, your shoes. For example, when I was undercover with strippers in a dark environment of a club, a guy would walk by the stripper, and she would scan him and tell you his net worth. She would look at the fingernails. She would look at the shoes. She would look at the jewelry, and she would give you his net worth in like 3 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah.
She didn't pay any attention to Joe Sixpack unless his wallet was thick, right?
Correct. Yeah, really.
I don't care what they look like.
Yeah.
But
the next question is, does your wife recognize when you maybe might be telling a white lie?
Uh-oh.
Wow.
He's never told her any white lies, have you?
I'm not saying.
She works for your wife, by the way.
Does
She's a private eye working for your wife.
My wife, we're married. It'll be 53 years in May. She's the greatest.
Sir.
You know something? When I was undercover, she didn't know a lot, but she would just, when I talked to her, she said, "Are you eating? Are you healthy?" Yeah. She's the greatest. Any other wife, we have a high divorce rate, both in the military and undercover guys. And she doesn't have a jealous bone in her body. She, let me do my thing. And she had, in a lot of ways, more hardship. We had 2 infants at times that were undercover, and she handled it.
So it went well, and thank you for your service, and also for Robin, what he did, and for the spouses, because that has to be tough for the type jobs that y'all had, and I thank you both for that type of service that you have given to us and what you did, and it's quite interesting, and the strip club really is very interesting.
Well, can I ask something about you? Let me ask you a question. Why is the strip club particularly interesting?
You really want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
Go ahead.
You got a lot of dollar bills hanging around there, Joy?
I'll give you a question. She's not going to tell us, but a lot of people ask me about the temptation. All these.
I had temptation.
What'd she say?
She has temptations.
Whoa.
Oh, well. So anyway.
New chapter in the book here.
Go ahead.
No, you can't, because at the time the case is over. What happened in 2020, as soon as the case was over, did a story. They did a 2-segment story, Barbara Walters and Sam Donaldson. And the first question they asked all the entertainers, we don't call them strippers, was, did you have sex with the undercover? And they all said, well, because then that would make me not a good witness in court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I realized that. And I being a good Catholic boy, I was good.
You lied. And then you confessed.
Who is this woman?
It's Joy.
Who is she?
She's got
Joy's a hoot and a half. I know her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a local girl here. Yeah.
Her husband bought a boat not long ago.
Yeah.
Does he do the stream station too?
Yeah. No.
I'm sorry. Sir. Go ahead.
And get her off. Will you?
Yeah.
Is John still there?
He's still hanging around here
He's taking the fifth right now.
Yeah.
I know he is.
in a glass.
He's quiet. What's the deal here?
All right. Hey, Joy, thank you. We got to take a break.
Thank you, and thank you for your service.
Bye,
sir.
Joy. Have a good
I
weekend.
will go to your podcast because I've enjoyed your I'm enjoying your story.
Oh yeah, get the podcast, spread the word, subscribe.
Yeah. I've got to
Yes,
put
sir, and I
I
will get the book
actually
talk
subscribe to it. I've never
when you were
done
on one time before, but you go to break, and all y'all have a great weekend. And thank
You too,
all.
Thank you, Joy. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. And don't go too far from your radio because we'll be right back.
Jacksonville's famous Mai Tai restaurant is open for in-house dining for your enjoyment, and now features a seafood dinner buffet beginning at 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, and from 11 till 9 on Sundays. All you can eat seafood for just $14.95. Located at 109 Henderson Drive, Mai Tai is open Tuesday through Sunday from 11 till 9. Lunch and seafood dinner buffet, appetizers, entrees with all your favorite beef, chicken, and seafood combinations. Their hibachi comes with onions, zucchini, and your choice of fried or steamed rice. Lunch buffet is just $12.95 and dinner $14.95 for all you can eat seafood buffet. For takeout, call 910-346-5382 or 910-346-6675 and online at mythainc.com. Delivery available. Your favorite app. All you can eat dinner seafood buffet 4 to 9 Tuesday through Saturday and Sundays 11 till 9. Mai Tai restaurant for over 35 years. Don't break a heart or your bank account this Valentine's Day. Be sure to make it a Barnes Diamond Gallery gift for the love in your life. You see, you always get a sweetheart of a deal at Barnes Diamond Gallery. Family owned and operated since 1982. You are guaranteed to find the perfect diamond, emerald, ruby, or sapphire. Barnes Diamond Gallery also has a great selection of earrings, watches, bracelets, necklaces, rings, and pendants that will make that special person happy this Valentine's Day. Barnes Diamond Gallery custom designs jewelry and pays top prices for gold, sterling silver jewelry, sterling flatware, and diamonds. Make that special person feel extra special with a gift from Barnes Diamond Gallery, 461 Western Boulevard, Suite 120, right here in Jacksonville. Family owned and operated since 1982. The only carpet protection and warranty for all pets, all accidents, all the time. Because your pets are family members too. No matter how you live, we've got you covered. Soft, luxurious, smart strand, forever clean carpet. Gorgeous, durable, Solitech luxury vinyl tile. Mohawk has the ultimate floor for every room in your home. It's suitable for all pets. For details, contact Watkins Floor Covering online at watkinsnewfloor.com. Watkins Floor Covering, thanking you for voting them the best of the best for 2022. In the flooring, covering, and carpet cleaning category. Watkins Floor Covering. They're more than just floors. It's custom showers, custom tubs, carpet cleaning, backsplash, bathrooms, commercial, retail, and home flooring too. Watkins Floor Covering. Family owned and operated since 1997 with locations in Jacksonville and Surf City. Watkins Floor Covering. You stand on it, we stand behind it.
If your plans include hitting the road this year to do some traveling, make sure a visit to Silent Service Center is on your to-do list. Travel safety starts with the tires on your vehicle, and a visit to Silent Service Center will give you peace of mind with the best value in all name brand tires and the largest selection of used tires in this area. In addition to quality tires, Silent Service Center is a North Carolina inspection station and does complete brake service, oil changes, and alignment service. Silent Service Center, 1707 Lejeune Boulevard, Jacksonville, and 108 West Main Street, Havelock. Phone 910-353-4760.
It's live and local. Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
And we're back live and local, Real Talk. And John Legato is in the studio with us. If anybody's got a quick question, we've got a few minutes here, not much left. But I appreciate you coming. We're going there next.
Oh,
we've got every
when you were
podcast.
in there, but
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
he has a podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should go on to subscribe to it.
You can go to our
That's
Facebook
amazing.
page now and our YouTube page. You can go there now and you can click on it because we got it linked there.
And I will also do a regular post on it a little bit later after the show, but I've posted it on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook
And
channel.
hit
And
subscribe.
it's the John Legato Show.
Yeah,
Go
kind of
into
simple.
search. Yep, the John Legato Show. It's right here.
You know, there's some of the topics. Stolen valor will
Stolen valor stuff makes
Andrea.
me angry. That makes my.
But I
yeah.
have one on dogs. I have one on the afterlife.
I saw that.
Yeah, but I have one. I did it about 5 days after the Russians invaded the Ukraine. And what happened is I went back to Russia right after that, when it was supposedly a democracy with Joe Pistone.
Mm-hmm.
And we did classes for Russian former KGB. There's no more KGB, FSB now, but and GRU, which is the military intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and all this police. And it was amazing, anyway, that podcast is a great podcast. That's about going back. I met Putin. We shook hands with him.
Yeah. Why did you just?
At the time,
He was a friend.
he was a friend. Yeah, Russia had just gone to democracy, and we thought Putin was going to be good. They wouldn't have sent me over there to do diplomatic training missions. But I met the ambassador to Estonia back then. I was in Estonia too, and
Yeah.
Melissa Wells said that they hate the Russians, and Putin is saying, "Well, the Baltic countries want us to take them." That's not true, people.
Don't believe a whole lot of what Putin tells you anyway. We have a caller too. Good morning. Is this who I think it is?
Hey, good morning, guys. This is Steve. How y'all doing?
Steve,
Hey,
we're doing
Steve.
fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I was just listening to Mr. John this morning, and wanted to call in right quick before y'all get off of there. And I'd like to say thank you for your service, sir, but that don't really even seem to cover it. Thank you for dedicating most of your life trying to make the world a better place.
I agree with that
I
sentiment.
do too. Putting it too, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And thank
Steve.
you for sharing your story. I'm sure some of it are more difficult to talk about than others. So thank you for sharing.
Well, I appreciate that, Steve. I really do.
And what I like about John and a lot of other cops too, by the way, is that they keep a sense of humor, and it's in self-defense.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have it, and doing what John has done and what a whole lot of cops have done, you ain't going to get by too well.
Once you lose that, you're done.
You're done.
You're done. Yeah.
Yep. That's the way that's my experience. So got to have a sense of humor. Steve, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a blessed week.
Yeah,
You too, Steve.
Final break coming up. You're live and local Real Talk, and we'll be right back.
The best deal for the grill is at Jones LP Gas and Oil Company each Friday. Friday from 8 a.m. till closing at 5, Jones LP Gas and Oil Company will fill your 20-pound LP gas grill cylinder for only $11. You heard that right. Each Friday till closing, you can have your 20-pound LP gas cylinder filled for only $11 at Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 Wilmington Highway in heart of Verona. In addition to saving money on your LP gas for the grill, Jones Gas and Oil is your full-service gas and oil company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural gas and oil needs, as well as gas appliances, LP replacement, parts, fill cylinders, and tankless water heaters, and they offer a 10% military discount on installation. Remember to get that cylinder filled every Friday until closing for only $11. Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 the Old Wilmington Highway, Verona. Phone 910-346-6384.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Now proud to be working with Doctors Kim and Tommy Morgan, formerly Morgan Dentistry. The Jacksonville and Richlands Morgan offices of Lane & Associates Family Dentistry blends the latest technology with personal care and attention, so you have an amazing dental experience. The offices of Lane & Associates welcome all ages and accepts all major insurances, including military. Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving the state of North Carolina for over 40 years, with 2 locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call for an appointment today at 877-LANE-DDS or online at lanedds.com. Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry.
Hi guys, it's Lisa, the Queen of Diamonds from Bryn Mawr Jewelers in Jacksonville. Are you looking for a ring for the perfect girl? We have hundreds of rings in our beautiful showroom. Want a ring as unique as your girl? Then we'll custom design a ring especially for you. Not sure if you want lab-grown diamonds or an earth mine diamond? No problem. We'll take the time to explain the difference. We guarantee to find a diamond as exceptional as your girl. We hand select every diamond that comes into our store, and it has to be a sparkling fireball to make it in our showcase. Our long-standing relationships in the industry guarantees you to get the most competitive price on the highest quality diamond. We offer custom financing so that it's easy to buy the ring of her dreams. We have rings for every budget, collection of loose diamonds. So I invite you to come visit us today at Bryn Mawr Jewelers in The Lutz family has been a part of thousands of I Do's for over 72 years. Nobody does I Do like we do. Come see why we're Jacksonville's oldest family jeweler.
Bryn Mawr Jewelers, next to Sam's Club, Jacksonville.
It's live and local. Real Talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
And we're back here the last few minutes of the show today. And what a great way to spend this show today.
I always enjoy it listening to John.
And I do too. And John, we talked off camera here, off mic for a couple of minutes about your new book. You've got it in the works, coming out soon.
Yeah, it's called Canley, Medal of Honor recipient John Canley. It's his whole life. He was in Vietnam from 65 through 70, and people don't realize that.
That 13 months got extended. He extended.
Well, yeah. Well, no, he came back and went back. He went 65, 66, 67, 68, and then 69, and 70. Mm-hmm. But what a wonderful man. His life in Arkansas growing up, and his life in the Marine Corps. Everybody loved him. He was a quiet warrior. Did you meet him?
I don't think I did.
It's a large.
Wait a minute. Was he at the dinner, the Marine Corps ball?
No.
Okay, I didn't meet him then.
Yeah, but wonderful man. Could have got 2 Medal of Honors, but he got lost in the shuffle afterway because we had no officers, so nobody wrote him up for the Medal of Honor for 50 years, and I ended up doing it, and it took 13 years to get it through the bureaucrats.
Yeah.
Oh.
One quick story. I got to tell this. I know you've heard it.
Yes, and I love it.
This was so bad. I needed endorsements of everybody in the chain of command from 68. It was a page, and I get a call from this captain at the Pentagon. He said, "Sir, I'm not judging the valor, but my sole purpose is to make sure your packet's complete. It's not complete. You don't have all your endorsements. I needed 13 signatures. You're missing 11," he said. "I got 2. And this went around and around, and I finally said to him, "You realize they're dead." So what I did is I got who the person was, and I put date of birth and date of death. And he said, "Yes, sir, I realize they're dead, but I can't forward the packet because I can't check off that you have the endorsement."
Good Lord.
Oh my.
It took me about 8 months to find an adult.
Mm-hmm.
It took 13 years.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I've heard that so many times, and it's hilarious, but it's stupid.
It is stupid.
It's just,
yes.
it reaches a new level of stupidity.
It got left on a desk for a year and a half, lost. There's so many stories. One time they said, "We can't approve it because there are no commissioned officers that are provided." There were no.
There was no one. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all dead or wounded or gone.
Yeah.
But that took a year.
Yeah, you worked on that for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you at the White House with him.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember seeing that video.
Yeah, it was fun. We had about 20 minutes with President Trump in a room.
Right.
A knock-around guy, New York guy,
Yeah, interesting.
That must have been very interesting 20 minutes. Did you have any good questions to ask him?
No, I said, "Hey, Prez."
Prez.
President Trump, Your Honor, Maynard G. Craig, your lordship, can we play on one of your golf courses? Of course, yeah, but nothing ever happened.
Yeah, I'm sure. But anyway, well, I have to thank you every time you come in here.
Absolutely.
Not just for your life. I love what Steve said for your entire life. You've been you're an American.
Mm-hmm.
American
boy.
American.
And we love what you do now, not what you've done in the past only. That was great. But you got a new life going, and it's great. I love it. Love following what you're doing. I'm glad you're not just sitting around doing nothing, sitting on the dock of the bay, having a cool one and fishing.
I don't do either.
You sit on the dock of the bay every now and then because I see you down there.
Yeah. Well,
he's probably writing.
Yeah, I
he's
write.
sitting on the dock of the bay.
He's
a person is like a house, like an empty house. It deteriorates from the inside out, even though. And my contention is, if you're just sitting, you're dying inside. Yeah.
I like that.
I had the distinct pleasure in 1980 of meeting Red Skelton.
Oh, yeah.
He is a comedian, but he's a whole lot more. He's a writer. I met him because I was interested in his photography because he's famous for his photo work.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't know that
And
either.
I happened to be at a public location where he was speaking, and I was shooting, and I was carrying, and I was shooting that, and he pulled me aside. He said, "I got camera just like that." I said, "I know." Then he invited me up to see some of his other work. When I walked into his room at the Hilton in Wilmington, he had a little keyboard, one of those Casio $29 keyboards, and he was composing music. He composed music every day.
Wow.
He wrote a short story every day. 99.9% of them ended up in the garbage, he said. He said, and he was looking at remember the old Japanese movies that were translated into English, but they weren't very good?
Yeah.
Sometimes the lip syncs were
Yeah.
almost on.
Yeah.
They were never on, but go ahead.
Yeah.
He said, there's nothing bad in any movies that's been produced and they're put out there on TV or you go to the movies. You can pick up something, an idea from any one of them. He said, my wife called me last night. She called me at midnight. Her time, she was in LA. So actually in Palm Springs. And I had actually gone by his house when I was out there on a few years earlier. They told us everywhere all the houses were.
Yeah.
So went right by his home. He had a Rolls in the driveway. That impressed me too. An old Rolls.
People don't even know who you're talking about.
I know that.
I know who he is. I
99%
grew
of
up
the
here.
people out here have not a clue who Red Skelton was.
Oh, my grandfather loved him.
He was
Yeah.
a physical
Yeah.
comedian too.
He was-
The
Oh,
whole-
he was
God,
just funny.
yes. He was also a very clean comedian.
Yeah.
Yes.
He told me during that time, he says, I don't have to be dirty to get laughs.
Oh, and-
Some people have to be dirty,
Yeah.
like that
Mhm.
woman named Joan. Now, if anybody remembers who she was,
Uh-huh.
she had to get filthy to get laughs.
Mhm.
Oh, yes. I remember you talking.
Remember that, Joan Rivers?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
That's the way he put it. He says, I don't have to talk like that to get laughs. I'm funny.
He was funny. He's
So-
not lying.
Sports talk.
Yep, sports talk coming up right now too. Absolutely. And they got. Let's see. I'm supposed to know who this is today.
Miller.
I think she is.
Ann?
I'm gonna give you the name in just a minute.
Yes.
Yep. Sports talk right now. Chris Rayner coming up, and his guest is Kim Miller. That's who
Kim
it is. I
Miller.
knew it was
Okay.
Kim.
I
couldn't
knew it
remember.
was a Miller.
Anyway, Kim Miller. She's from Swansboro High School, teacher. She's also co-athletic director, and she coaches basketball, volleyball, and who knows what else. Maybe she's going to be coaching us this morning. We'll have to listen.
Okay.
Join Chris Rayner and Kim Miller right now. You're live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. John, my sincere gratitude to you again for coming in.
Thanks for having me. I enjoy this.
And we'll be back with you soon. We'll see you on Monday morning.
246 CJ, Jacksonville.